Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening to this podcast. What is up? Welcome to Project Freelance. My name is Kay Anagonio, and I am your host here on this podcast, where I come to you every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But it's a podcast, so you can listen to it whenever you want. So this week on the podcast, I'm speaking with Shan Dan. Shan Dan is a president of a few record labels. He is a music video director. He works on documentaries. He does a lot of really cool creative things, and I wanted to have a chat with him about what he does, why he does it, how he got started, how he grew in the music industry, and there's just so much really, really great information in this podcast for you guys, and I think it's going to help you out whether you are trying to get into the music industry, whether you are a band trying to break out and, get signed to a label. There's some advice for you guys in this episode. I hope you enjoy it, but before we get started, just a couple things real quick. First of all, I have a book out called No Tracers, an Urban Explorer's Diary. It is a coffee table book full of photography and stories from all of these amazing abandoned places I have explored. You see, when I'm not freelancing, I like to explore abandoned places. And when I am freelancing, I try to set my freelance projects in abandoned places because I just love abandoned places, let's face it. I also shoot a lot of my music videos in abandoned places, whether it be for other bands or for my own music. If you guys didn't know, I'm in a band called Chasing Satellites, and I just joined another band called Matriarchs, who just got signed to Upstate Records. So super excited about all the music coming out. Matriarchs actually has an album called Year of the Rat coming out on October 16th, 2020. So if you guys want to check that out, please do. I would appreciate it a ton. It's hardcore music. Hope you like that. And Chasing Satellites is more of a post-hardcore project, a lot more singing. So if you guys are into that kind of stuff, definitely check out Chasing Satellites. And then I need to say a huge thank you to this podcast's partner, which is Liquid Death Water. And if you don't know what Liquid Death Water is, don't worry. You've got an ad coming for you in 3, 2, 1. From the streams of the Austrian Alps comes a new kind of water. A water that is sure to raise you from your grave. If you're tired of buying cases of plastic water bottles that contain carcinogens and God knows what else, or if you're trying to lower your waste footprint, Liquid Death comes in beautifully rugged aluminum cans. Murder your thirst with a can of Liquid Death. Check the link in the description and use code JustTheLetterK at checkout for 10% off your order. Liquid Death. Murder your thirst. So yeah, if you guys use just the letter K at checkout on liquiddeath.com, you will get a discount. You're welcome. Thank you, Liquid Death, for partnering with me. I appreciate it. And thanks for the water. It's great. And I love that the partner for this podcast is water, because that's what I'm drinking while I'm doing this podcast. It's absolutely amazing, and it is it's alpine water. So let's get into this episode. Shan Dan, can you please introduce yourself to the Project Freelance audience and tell them what it is that you do?
My name is Shan Dan, and I am the president of many record labels, past and present. I also direct a lot of music videos, as well as create documentaries, films, and all that good stuff. So I kind of wear a lot of hats.
So what got you into the creative field? I mean, you are the president, like you said, of a couple different record labels. You do music videos, documentaries. How did you get into creative works?
So it's actually pretty interesting. Like when I was in high school, I kind of had to figure out what I wanted to do for a living. and my mom was like, you need to go to school to learn how to be an X-ray tech. And I was like, oh, I hate medical hospitals and all this stuff. I don't want to do any of that, Mom. And, essentially I was always into music, playing in 10 different bands at a time and, touring and such. So I basically decided to get, into more of the business side of music, because I had kind of found that every band I was in, I was, the leading member, where I was making moves and decisions, and everybody else was just getting drunk and, kind of thinking everything happened just magically. And I was there sending tons of emails and doing all that stuff. So anyways, I went to school at ASU, NAU. I put myself through college for marketing. And essentially from there, I took my first internship in Chicago And that's kind of what set it off into a more business oriented thing. So that's kind of how I got my start. I was, touring in a band and just pivoted into, being in the actual like adult serious land, which is weird.
So tell me about the first time you went on tour. What was your experience like? Because for me, my first tour, our van was like an old piece of crap. It didn't have a heat shield on the floor.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
socks were burning, getting holes burned in them. It was like horrible experience, but also like an amazing experience because it's the first tour. So tell me about your first tour.
So the funny thing is, I had almost the opposite. So you were burning the holes in your socks. I was freezing my ass off in in the winter time up in Colorado. But the first, I would say the first actual serious tour I did, I was on tour with Killswitch Engage and Disturbed in one of my old bands, and basically, we were all packed into a small van, six of us, and we would drive tour date to tour date, and to make extra money, we were trying to do fill-in dates instead of having off dates. So we really just beat ourselves up on the first tour. But one of the things was when we hit Colorado, there's this one stretch of highway that I think they call it the Devil's Highway. It goes from
Perfect.
Utah. Yeah, it's like super brutal, and so many people die on it. That's actually, a long time ago. Sorry, my voice is going out. A long time ago, I think the band was called Bleeding. It was Bleeding Through. I think that was the band. There's this famous footage where this police dash cam captures a tour van flipping in the snow, and all their shirts and gear go flying out. That was actually Devil's Highway, and it was just brutal. So my first tour, going through there, we got stuck in the middle of the biggest snowstorm they had in years, and as we're climbing this hill, it's slowing down, and semis are starting to slide backwards, and we end up kind of losing it into a ditch or like on the side of the road, and we were like, you know what, we need to put snow tires on, or chains. So one of our guitarists, their job for this tour was, hey, get the chains prepared just in case. So we go back and we're like, thank God we have these. So we pull them out, and this dude, he didn't try them on. It was chains for like a car, like not a tour van. So they didn't even fit, and we're just sitting there with like 7-Eleven big gulp cups trying to dig our ass out of the snow. And we're just like, oh my God, we're screwed. We're stuck on the side of the road. They're closing down all the highways, and we're trying to dig out. But this guy just randomly comes up, some service vehicle dude, throws a chain on the front, doesn't say a single thing to us, and drags our ass to the top of this hill. And he's like, good luck, see you later. And but that, I mean, that's basically touring. It's like you might die, you might not, and it is what it is.
And there's something that happens every single day, something crazy, something unexpected, something exciting. There's something that happens every single day to keep you on your toes on
Oh yeah,
tour.
up and downs. There's it's almost like a roller coaster. Some dates are really great, and you're like, this is why I do it. And then other dates you have to load up your big full cab bass amp up 3 flights of stairs, and
Yep.
there's like four people there.
Yep. Oh, I feel that. Like all the pizza parlors that we used to play and like all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
Everything down in the basement.
I remember one venue. I forget what it's called, but they literally, the venue's on the third floor, no elevators, and there's just a stairwell, and it goes straight up, like for 3 floors, like from step one to the final step. It's just a straight flight of stairs all the way up, and we were just bringing all our gear up there, and I was like, please don't drop this. It's gonna go crashing down 3 floors of stairs. This could be pretty bad.
Wow, that's insane, man. So, whenever you went to school, like, did you learn a lot of stuff that helped you with your career now? One of my questions is about education. Like, do you think it's necessary to go to college or go to a trade school, or do you think you could learn this stuff, online, on YouTube? Like, what is your opinion about that?
So I'm a pretty huge advocate for learning stuff on your own. And the reason I say that is, I went to college and paid all this money, and I'm not from a rich family, so I had to pay my own way and, go through this. But after the fact, nobody nobody really asked me for my degree. That actually didn't open any doors for me. It was more so what I had accomplished in my career, almost like my, past portfolio of success stories and artists that I broke. But I mean, obviously, if you're trying to be a doctor, you have to go to school, right? If
Yeah, of
you're,
course.
yeah, trying to be a surgeon or something like that, you should probably learn how to do that properly. But, if you're into music or photography or film or engineering, like, there's so many great online, courses, even YouTube. Like some of the big engineers that I've worked with in, my career, I ask them, oh, what school did you go to learn all this stuff? And they're like, oh, I just watched YouTube videos, and they had a natural talent, So it's like,
Hmm.
I feel like that trumps any degree that you could possibly get, really.
And then tell me a little bit about that internship that you had. Another one of my questions is about having internships. I think that is something that is very important when you're trying to learn a new skill or a new trade.
Oh, 100%. I mean, internships are super important. I was taught, when I was going to school and preparing, I was taught that you have to really work hard and show that you're invaluable to a company, starting out. And, as an intern, you would do the super non-glorious things. Like I would have to go, run across Chicago because that's where I interned, and get people like, squid calamari or whatever, and then run back and put it on silver platters, and make sure they had anything that they wanted, and swept up everything. So, I mean, that's where I started and worked my ass off, to get hired. Interesting fact about that too is, my internship, I actually got to work for Barack Obama when he was
Wow.
running for the Senate. So he wasn't the president yet. And I was like, man, this dude's got such a weird fucking name. Like, he's never going to get elected to the Senate. And like, he was cool. And I'm so happy that he did. He got elected as president years after, but who would have fucking known, That was crazy.
Hmm. Wow.
Sorry, I got
That's
off on
absolutely
a
insane.
tangent.
No, that's cool. I think that's great. I think it's super interesting, and like what a like crazy, coincidence almost that, you worked for the guy and then he became president. Like, wow.
Yeah. It's crazy. I was kicking myself that I didn't take a photo with me and my like awkward emo hair next to the president.
Oh man, that would have been the poster of all posters.
Yeah. Speaking of like, having a degree, I would just fax that photo to people instead of an actual degree.
Hire me. Here's my photo with Barack
Yeah.
Obama.
Here's me and Barack Obama.
Love it. So, what do you like most? Running labels, doing music videos, documentaries? Do you have a favorite out of them?
So I like all of them in different aspects. I mean, running a record label is very clerical, where you send out emails day in and day out, and you look at Excel sheets, and you do statistics and analytics and all this, almost like borderline accounting type stuff, So that's fun to an extent, but at some point in time, the creative side of me, that's still an artist at heart, even though I haven't played music in a decade or so, there's still that creative aspect where I'm like, man, I really like that I'm helping these guys follow their dreams and be creative. But, me personally, I want to actually do something creative. And for me, it's film or doing music videos and such like that, such things like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that you have like multiple outlets, and not only that, but this is, a podcast about freelancing. And I think it's important to have multiple streams of income as well. Can you
Oh, yeah.
talk a little bit about the importance of that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the old days, I would say 1930s, 1940s, probably 50s as well. But, families, they could have one income source, where, a husband or wife would go to a factory job, come home, and that was enough to afford a house and everything that you could possibly need. But nowadays, it doesn't work that way, which is unfortunate. People, especially Americans, have to work, three times as hard to make income to survive. So, for me, multiple sources of income is really helpful, especially if, one thing dries up, like, let's say, December's approaching. You don't want to release new music in December because, everybody's on holiday and nobody's, really listening because they're out doing different things. So during that dead time, I could be shooting content for 2021, for a release, and make money for doing music videos, so it is very important. And in terms of freelancing, I mean, it's so it's so sorry, my voice keeps going out.
It's all
But
good.
for for freelancing, it's just such a weird, concept, because in the old days, people would say, they'd work for a corporation or a company for, 40, 50 years and then retire. Being a freelance, now you actually have to go out and get these clients, and it's never stable. You make a ton of money at one time and you're super busy, and then for a few months you're just dead and don't have anything. So you just need to save consistently. That's kind of the name of the game, really.
Absolutely. And so, what do you look for in an artist, especially right now? Touring is non-existent. So, like, as a record label, like, what are you looking for in an artist?
So there's a few things. I mean, I've learned a lot from doing this. I mean, I used to work at Century Media Records, which, that was my first, big label job, which they had bands like In This Moment and, Suicide Silence, and, all these pretty up and coming and, pretty top of the game metal bands. And then I went to, being president of Artery, president of Outer Loop, and just a handful of other labels. But um, for me, through all these labels, I really started seeing kind of a pattern of what worked and what didn't with artists, because I'm guilty of it. I've signed bands that I personally really enjoyed, and I thought, hey, this music's great. I'm a fan, but I didn't look at the other side of it, where yes, the music's good, but are the individuals in it to win? Are they stable and want to go out and do this, and they've been together for a while? Or is this like project number 7 this year, and
Mm.
they change their name every 2 months or something like that? Because once you as a label get invested, you're in it for about a year and a half per album. And if the band can't think that far ahead, and they're a more 2 to 3 month kind of impulsive band, that's something that is really hard to work with, as well as very disappointing when you at a label are working hard and you're like, these guys are going to blow up, we're doing this and this, let's work on our side. And then the band kind of is just like, yeah, we're not feeling it, like, I think I'm just going to go back to my job at Starbucks. And you know
Mm.
like, that's pretty heartbreaking. So but sorry,
Absolutely.
I got off on a tangent. So on my side, the things I do look for in bands are: A, stability and passion and longevity. B, do they already have something that's working? It's just so hard to sign a band from, let's say they got 10 likes on Facebook. That's a day one build. It's going to take a second, probably two records, 3 records to really get them to their full potential. So, you want to see if it's kind of working already. So if a band's already put out an album and they're getting attention, people are like, "Oh my God, this is so good!" Or you see the video comments that are like, "Oh, this is my new favorite band." You can kind of see that the formula is working, because there really is no equation that tells you if a band's going to be successful or not. People's tastes always change, so it really comes down to, is it working or is it not already?
Absolutely. No, I totally get that. And like, what do you think artists should be doing right now during this time while we're kind of, I mean, for lack of a better term, sitting on our asses? What should bands be doing right now? I mean, for example, my manager Mishko from 10 and 8 Management,
Love them,
he
best dude
pushed
ever.
me. He's the best dude, man. He pushed me to get on TikTok, and I was like, man, I don't dance. I'm not gonna do this. This is not the platform for me. And he was like, no, you have to find your niche. You have to
Uh-huh.
find what you do and do it well. So what I do is take the trending sounds and turn them into metal covers,
Yeah.
and so now the metal community has these sounds to use on TikTok. So that's like one thing people could be doing, but like, what are some other things bands could be doing during this time?
Well, I mean, one big thing is just starting to record new content. It's like, TikTok. Yeah, you're definitely on the forefront of what is the new normal, for music, and it always changes. It's like when MySpace came up, all these labels were like, oh my God, what is social networking? What is this, and how does it
Mm,
play into making money? That's a lot of people that I've worked with at labels, they got their start because they got hired by labels that just didn't get it, and they understood it because they were young. So the format always changes, and it's now TikTok. That's like the music breaker if you can understand it and figure it out. But what bands could be doing is recording new music, recording tons of content. For me, I see two types of bands. There's the band that I sign where I sit them down. Like there's an artist called Slaves that I just put out. Record did really great, but for them, we sat down and we were like, okay, let's spend 7 days shooting music videos back to back, or 2 weeks. And we ended up stacking like 9 music videos. And this was maybe like 2 months after we received the rough mixes of the music. So what we did was, during the downtime, we filmed tons of music videos, behind the scenes things, viral content. We took photos, we got all the design work done, and then we released the first single. So we ended up stacking all the content so we could just have an endless amount of, every month and a half, here's a new music video, here's a new song, here's another one. But on the flip side, a lot of individuals and bands, they kind of just, they get excited and they get a single and they're like, we're going to put it out in 2 weeks. We should shoot a music video, and they get the final cut of the music video the night before, and they're constantly kind of running against the clock to create the content to facilitate and back up the single. So looping back to your question, is bands should just, maybe during this downtime start gathering all that content from music to video to everything, and then prepping for 2021. Look at the long-term goal. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's and Slaves is a great example. I filmed behind the scenes at their live stream show, and like it was so cool to see. First of all, it was so cool to go to a concert for the first time since March.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing. And
how fun was that, by the way? I saw you running around. You were like, yes, concert.
Yes, I was like, it's a show. It's like our own, and me and Blake, like we had like our own, it was our own personal show. We didn't have to like move through fans and crowds. Like we could go anywhere and like, film what we needed to film. So it was a really, really interesting and very, very unique opportunity. And it was just a great experience overall. And, I love the music. So that was just a huge bonus for me.
And it was cool too, just for people listening, this was at the Whiskey A Go-Go, right on, I think it was Sunset Strip or Hollywood. Sunset. Okay.
Sunset.
Yeah. So it was really surreal where, everybody's talking about concerts coming back in 2021 and how bummed they are. And me and you were sitting there watching a concert at the Whiskey A Go-Go,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, and I think that's another thing bands could be doing if they can, afford to do a live stream show and do it properly. Don't like half-ass it and do it in your garage. Like if you can afford to do it in a proper venue. Or, my friend Kevin Garcia, he has like a warehouse where they built this wraparound screen, and they're doing live streams for like Fever 333 and like all these bands, and just doing them all in this warehouse, so it's a really cool time to experiment with new things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of services out there too. There's, I think SoundRink's doing things. I know Veeps, for Slaves, they use Veeps.com, which you can actually sell tickets to your live stream. So, I mean, if you have the following that would purchase a ticket, maybe that's an option. Kind of do a full-on experience, really make some money.
Definitely. And what is your favorite memory in the music business?
That's a good question. Favorite memory. God, there's so many. I mean, kind of like we were talking about with touring, there's always ups and downs. There's like, ups where an album comes out and you chart ridiculously high and you're excited about it. And then there's lows where like, oh shit, the singer of this band got arrested and I got to go pick him up from, from jail, and this is not good, so there's ups and downs. But really for me, the thing that my favorite memories are when a band trusted me to help their vision or them chase their dream, and we end up actually making it, becoming successful, and like our goals, like we accomplish all of our goals that we'd set out. But I mean, perfect example is, the band Slaves. When Beautiful Death came out, we put that album out, and it was a rough start because Artery had just been acquired by Warner. And Warner dropped every band on the catalog. Like, I don't even know why they signed or why they purchased Artery if they weren't trying to continue on everything that was built up. It made no sense. But after all of that, I picked up and helped a lot of those bands, including Slaves, and we built this release that was cast aside into this huge, substantial release that did, I think it's sitting at maybe, it's like 55 to 60 million streams on this album, which outcharts everything on the mainstream charts right now. I mean, I'm not talking pop, I'm talking about rock. It was definitely up there as streamable, one of the top streamable albums that year. But one of the memories is, the band was touring through Vegas, and I was going to fly out and surprise them. So I had placards made for them, custom, which are, when an album does really well, like goes gold or platinum or whatever, you basically build these really fancy placards out with everybody's name engraved in it and separate ones, the whole nine. So I built these out, and for months I had been planning it, but I surprised them in Vegas, and I had them meet me at the casino I was staying at, and they come up to the bar, and I've got this box hidden, and I give them all their placards in Vegas, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And we take photos, and they're like showing it off to everybody, and people are filming them. It was a cool memory. That's what it's all about,
That's awesome. And it's been so cool to see that band evolve, like that. Now they've got Matt in the band, and they're doing, amazing things. This new record is, I mean, for me, it's album of the year for sure. It's such a dynamic piece of work. And I've loved playing that on repeat and just, listening to how it's evolved, from Beautiful Death to now. And I mean, just a huge congratulations to everybody. So yeah, go Slaves.
We should just rename this episode, Talking About Slaves podcast.
Talking About Slaves. So what advice would you give to somebody trying to work in the music industry right now, especially during COVID?
So what I would say is, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be, wins and losses. So every pitfall you have, if you hit a lull, you just need to get through it and keep going, eventually just keep climbing upwards and onwards. But, my advice would be keep trying, and anything you do, just make sure it's quality and you put in the time. Like, even if you're not getting paid a ton of money for, let's say, if you're a freelance photographer or videographer or, audio engineer, and you're building up your portfolios, just do exceptional work. Even if the money's not there. I mean, I've done music videos where I'm like, holy shit, I'm like making 10 cents an hour, doing this, but I'm going to make it really kick ass. And I do the project and, go above and beyond. It comes out and the label's like, oh my God, this was so cool. You blew all these other, directors out of the water, and, you're our go-to. Hey, here's this new project for The Weeknd or Slayer, Right. So it kind of happens, just if you can build a brand of quality, that's probably my best advice for you is work on that.
And what is one of the first things you're going to do when COVID goes away, if it ever goes away?
Oh my God. I've been thinking about this a lot. And, first thing I'm doing is I'm going to head out to Japan. It's my favorite place in the world. And yeah, I'm just going to go to Japan probably 2 weeks and, drink lots of sake and catch up with old friends, and probably pop over to Korea. I actually flew out to Korea by myself when I was running Artery, because I had this theory that there was an anti-K-pop scene out there, right? Because it's like look at America when Britney Spears and NSYNC and all that shit was going on. There was this opposite of that, where people were like, oh man, I want to listen to metal and Korn and all this kind of stuff, and it created this anti scene. So I was curious to see what existed in Korea and get a foothold there for my American artists. And I flew out there and met tons of great indie labels, metal bands, like all types of stuff. It was really fascinating. But anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting off on tangent again. I would definitely go to Japan and Korea the second all this garbage is on.
Love it. Hey, also, it's a podcast. It's made for tangents. So
okay,
keep your tangents up. It's great. So my last question for you is probably the most important question.
Okay.
What is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started?
That's a good question. There's a few things. A few things if I could go back in time and tell myself. One, I would say don't worry about other people. You can't make everybody happy. Like in your career when I started, the first music video I put out, professionally, I saw a comment that was like, this is garbage or something. And got offended. Like I didn't respond to the person, but it beat me up. And I was like, oh man, maybe it is garbage, and I'd have crippling self-doubt at the first one. But like, what I did learn was you can't make everybody happy. And some people are just going to be negative and, lash out at you for no reason and want you to fail. And you just have to overcome that and ignore it. I mean, now I'm like 2 million music videos or lyric videos or whatever in, and like I read the comments and I just laugh about it. It's like one comment I saw too. I did these 2 music videos. One was for Carnifex, the metal band, and I just wanted fire in it, like a shit ton of pyro, because I finally tracked down a good pyro person in LA, and I shot it, and it's literally just slow mo and regular shots of them just being metal with fire just popping off, right? So then, like months and months and months later, I had this band called Capture the Crown that has a song called Firestarter. I was like, well, shit, let's bust out those pyros again. That was fun as hell. Like I love blowing shit up. So I contract the pyro team again, and we shoot theirs, ironically, in a warehouse in daytime, just blowing off fire, like almost burning this place down. It was so sketchy. But we're doing that. We shoot it. But anyways, that video comes out, and there's a comment. It's like, look at these motherfuckers ripping off Carnifex. And I'm just like, I shot both. Like, you can't rip yourself off, man. Like, it's just, but case in point, it's like, people are going to be trolls. People are going to be bummed at your success. So definitely, don't let it get to you, because, can't make everybody happy. As long as you yourself are happy, that's all that matters, really.
Absolutely, man. All right. So if anybody wants to, work with you on a music video or a documentary, or if they want to pick your brain some more, how can they get a hold of you? Where can they find you? What's the best place to go?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way. And my screen name is just xshandanx. And that's probably the easiest way right there.
All right, so that was my podcast with Shan Dan. Oh my God, what a great episode that was. So if you're looking to get into the music industry, if you're a band trying to figure out, how to get signed to a label, things like that, I hope this episode helped you guys out a little bit. If you did enjoy it, please leave a rating and some feedback. It really helps the podcast grow, especially if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. You can see the ratings. You can see all the feedback that we've gotten on this podcast. There are over 60 ratings on this podcast, so thank you guys so much for all of your feedback. If you leave a rating and feedback, I will actually send you a signed photo print from an abandoned place that I have explored. I like to explore abandoned places when I'm not freelancing, like I said at the beginning. So if you guys want a signed photo print, be sure to leave a rating and feedback, and then shoot me a screenshot to K.Anagonio on Instagram. My link is down in the description, and I will mail you out a signed photo print. Thank you guys for listening to another week of Project Freelance. I will talk to you again next Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, just in time for your morning commute, if you have a morning commute. Or it could be your morning commute from your bed to your desk in your room. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Stay strong. Keep enduring. Go out and go create something.